What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with Samsung Galaxy A23 5G tips, tricks, and hidden features. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to get the most out of your device. Now, the first feature that I want to show you how to enable with the Samsung Galaxy A23 5G is a feature called Edge Panels. So to get to this, you're going to pull down the shade, go to the gear icon, which is the settings, then from there, go to search, type in Edge Panel, and you'll see it right here, so go there. And then go here once again. And then now we can enable the feature. And after doing this, you'll see that on the right side of the device, there's this little kind of cutout notch. And if you swipe that over, you'll have access to a variety of different apps. So there's certain app clusters, there's individual apps, and you can customize all of this. Then from this screen, you can go to this bottom menu where you can go to all your apps, or you can edit the ones that are here. And also there's a gear icon right there, and if you go there, you actually have a choice of a lot of other things to put in this edge panel. So instead of having apps, you could have people, smart select, tasks, weather, tools, reminders, and the clipboard. And you can even find more options in the Galaxy Store. So I definitely recommend trying all these different options for the edge panel, and definitely also enabling the feature because it's not enabled by default. This is certainly a very useful feature to have, and the iPhone, for example, doesn't have anything like this. In addition to that, if you go back to this original settings area for edge panels that I showed you before, you can go here and you can actually adjust the look and position of the actual edge panel. So if you want the handle here to be on the left side instead, you can do that. You can also move where it is as well. You can lock it in place. You can pick what color you want it to be. There's even an entire color panel here that you can choose from. So that's very cool. And then you can also adjust the transparency and size of it as well. So lots of different options here, and I definitely recommend customizing this to exactly how you want it to be. Now the next thing I want to show you is how to hide apps with the Galaxy A23 5G. So when you're in the app drawer here, it's great because you can see all the various apps installed onto the phone. And there's even different folders and all of that. But if there's certain apps here that you don't want to show up at all and you want them hidden, then I'll show you how to do that. So from this screen right here in the app drawer, go to the upper right corner to these three dots and then go to Settings. Then from here, you'll see Hide Apps right there. So go there. And then you can pick whatever you want to hide. So let's hide Facebook, for example. So that's now in the Hidden Apps area. We can go to Done. And then once we exit out of here, you'll see that there is no Facebook to be found anywhere. In fact, I even had it on my home screen here, and you can see that that app is now missing. And then, if you want to bring it back, you just go back to the same area, go to Settings, go to Hide Apps once again, and then remove it from your hidden apps. And then, once you do that, it will be back in your app drawer, but it will not be back on the home screen. So in my situation, if I want to put things back to how they were, I just grab the app once again, and then drop it right where it was prior. The next thing I want to show you is how to take a screenshot with the Samsung Galaxy A23 5G. So to take a screenshot with this device, all you have to do is hold the volume down and the power button very briefly, so just like this, and it takes the screenshot. Then from there, you can edit it, share it, or just delete it. So a very simple method to take a screenshot with the device. It's very fast. Now with the Samsung Galaxy A23 5G, this device has a very large display at 6.6 inches. Now that does make the phone great for content consumption, but if you do want to use the phone with just one hand, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to reach all portions of the operating system. Now thankfully, they have come up with a really cool solution to this, and it's called OneHanded Mode. Now to enable OneHanded Mode, you're going to pull down the shade, go to the settings, go to the search, type in one hand, and you'll see right there, OneHanded Mode. So then from here, you can see it's right there. We'll enable that. And then what I recommend doing is switching from gesture to button. So if you double tap on the home button, it'll now enable one-handed mode. So we'll do that right now. And there we go. We now have a shrunken down version of the entire operating system here. So then from there, you can go home, you can go to the home screen, you can do whatever you want on the phone, but essentially it's like a mini phone. Now you can move this to the other side of the display if you want to make things a bit easier, but you can see I can reach everything with just one hand. And then in addition to that, you can grab onto the corner and resize it. So if you want the one-handed mode to be a little bit bigger, then there you go right here. So you can see I can still reach everything. And then to get out of this, you just tap outside of the area here. And then it makes things back to normal. And then to get back to one-handed mode, just double press on the home button once again. So very simple and easy. And this is really a great feature to have and something that I definitely think everybody will use in at least one occasion or another. Now the next thing I want to show you is a feature called side key. So essentially with the power button, if you double press on it very quickly, it'll pull up the camera app. So let's do a demo of that right now. You can see I was able to quickly pull up the camera. So very convenient. We'll try that one more time here. And there we go, it pulls up the camera. And that already is enabled by default, so keep that in mind. The next thing I want to show you are some various display settings that you might want to consider adjusting. So to get to this, we're going to pull down the shade, go to the gear icon for the settings, then go to display. And the first thing I want to show you is light and dark mode. So by default, the phone is on light mode, but if you want to, you can switch to dark mode. And this is definitely much better later at night, or maybe you're in the movie theater, for example, and you don't want everyone to know that you're on your phone. You can switch over to this. You can also go to dark mode settings and turn on schedule if you want to as well. So definitely a lot of options there that are worth checking out. In addition to that, there's also motion smoothness. So this device does feature a 120 Hz refresh rate, which is a great premium feature and honestly something that I'm very surprised we even have here with a phone as affordable as this one. But if you want better battery life with the phone, you can switch things over to 60 Hz instead. I personally wouldn't recommend doing this all the time because, again, that's one of the benefits of this phone is that it has such a great refresh rate. But if you do find yourself maybe in a situation where you really want to save some battery, then definitely you can switch things over to 60 Hz and the overall experience isn't going to be much different, but at the same time, you will at least save some battery. So that option is right here. In addition to that, there's also font size and style. So if you want to change the font, you can do that. You can bold the font as well. If you want to make the font bigger so it's easier to see, you can do that too. We also have easy mode. So if this phone is meant for somebody that wants a very simple experience, maybe they don't want all the various features and things that they have to learn with Android and they just want the bare minimum, then you can enable easy mode here to make that easier. Now I'll show you navigation bar in a second here. But there's also this option called touch sensitivity. So if you find yourself using a screen protector with this phone, which is something that I do recommend, then you will want to enable touch sensitivity so that the display overall will work better with screen protectors. And then taking a look at navigation bar, let's go here. We have a variety of different options. So the first thing we have here is the ability to customize the 3-button navigation at the bottom of the phone. So if you want the back button to be on the left side and the recent apps button to be on the right side, you can easily make that switch. So that really comes down to personal preference. I'm not sure if one configuration is better than the other. Seems like various Android brands seem to kind of do it whatever way they want to, but you do have the ability to change this if you want. And then we also have swipe gestures. So if we go here, you'll see that instead of having the 3 buttons, we just have one small line. So to go home, you swipe up. To go to your recent apps, you swipe partially up, and then to go back, you swipe from the side. I don't think one way or the other is necessarily better or worse. It really comes down to personal preference. I know some people really like gestures, but I also know other people that really prefer the 3-button Android navigation. But if you've never tried one or the other, I definitely recommend giving both a try so that you at least know what you prefer. But in addition to that, you can go to the more options under swipe gestures. And then from here, there is one additional option called swipe from bottom. And essentially, you still get the swipes, but instead, there's a swipe for recent apps, there's a swipe for home, and then a dedicated swipe for going back. So you can see going home, you swipe from the middle. Go in your recent apps, you swipe up from the left side here. And then you swipe up from the right side to go back. So that is kind of a combination of the two. But if you do want to go with the regular gesture navigation, you can also adjust the sensitivity for that as well. Now with the Samsung Galaxy A23 5G, we do have really good battery life, and we also have a very large battery at 5,000 milliamp hours. However, if you are in a situation where you think you're definitely going to need the most amount of battery efficiency as possible out of this phone, and maybe you know that you won't be near a charger anytime soon, then you might want to consider checking out some additional battery settings that I'll be showing you right now. So pull down the shade here, go to the gear for the settings, then from here, go down to battery and device care. Then from there, go to battery. And then from here, you'll see power saving, so go there. And essentially, you can enable power saving mode, which will really prolong the battery life from this device. So you can see that with power saving mode on, the phone will run for 2 days and 6 hours. Of course, that's assuming that you're not really using the phone. But you can see also that by enabling power saving mode, it will limit CPU speed to 70%. It'll decrease brightness by 10%. And you can see here too that there's another option for limit apps and home screen. So for maximum power saving, allow only selected apps, limit all background activity, turn off edge panels, and change to dark theme. I definitely recommend giving this a try if you know that you won't be able to recharge the phone anytime soon, because who knows? This might be the difference of having your phone completely run out of battery on you or having it last until you're able to make it to a charger. In addition to that, you can go to more battery settings for more battery settings. We have the option for adaptive battery, which is enabled already by default. There's also enhanced processing. So get faster data processing. It'll use more battery, but you can enable that. And that's not enabled by default. So that might be something that you definitely should give a try unless you seem to notice that your battery is draining faster than you prefer. Now the battery percentage does show by default, but if you want to hide that, you can hide it from here. Also, fast charging is enabled by default, which is something that I do recommend that you use because that is a great feature to have. But if you don't want fast charging and you want the phone to charge a bit slower, which technically by doing that will give the battery less wear and tear, you can disable fast charging. And then you can see here, protect battery. So if you want to enable that, it will extend the lifespan of your battery and will limit the maximum charge to 85%. But keep in mind then that you'll have 15% less battery capacity with this device at all times, unless you do actually recharge it to 100%. Now, one final thing I want to show you are gestures and motions. Now, a lot of this already is enabled by default, but some of it is not. So go to the settings, go to search, type in gestures, and you'll see right there, gestures and motions. So we'll go there, then go here, and you can see that, yeah, indeed, a lot of these are not enabled already by default, and many of these are worth enabling. So first one is lift awake. So turn on the screen when you pick up your phone. Another one is double tap to turn on the screen. This is a big one. This is one that I really like to use. So I'll enable that. You can see double tap to turn off the screen. I'll enable that as well. So if you double tap on an empty space on the home screen, it will turn off the screen. And then keep screen on while viewing. It'll keep the screen on while you're looking at it using the front camera to detect your face. I think that's really awesome as well. So let's try out a few of these. So for example, I can turn off the display by double tapping in an empty area. There we go. I can turn on the display now by just double tapping on it. Perfect. Then from there, of course, you have to use your finger for the fingerprint sensor. I guess I'll enable lift awake while I'm at it. It's kind of difficult to do this with the camera in between me and the phone, but we'll give it a try. Is it gonna work? There we go, it worked. So it does indeed work, it's just that with the camera here, it makes it a bit more difficult. Now these two are already enabled by default, but let's also go here to finger sensor gestures. So this is not enabled by default, but this is pretty cool. With this enabled, you can just run your finger down the fingerprint sensor to lower the shade here, so you can view your notifications. You can pull down one more time as well to access all your various quick toggles. And then to get out of this, you just swipe up, and there you go. So you can do this from anywhere in the operating system. So instead of having to reach all the way up here, you can just now use your finger on the fingerprint sensor to lower that shade down. So very convenient. But this concludes my video on tips, tricks, and hidden features for the Samsung Galaxy A23 5G. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new today. And if you liked it, definitely give this video a thumbs up. But this is Kevin here, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.